Welcome to the Author to Authority podcast. And today I'm so excited to have on Samantha Buckley-Hugessen. And she is an amazing woman that I've been privileged to have the opportunity to work with over the last year to get her book done. And just wait till you hear about this book because it is really going to change your life. And just before we get into the interview, I just want to remind you, I always love to give things away to my listeners. So if you really want to learn how to use the power of words to build your business, then you can get my free book at www.powerwords.pro/free book. So Samantha, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Good morning.
So you are the author of
Unstuck
Yourself.
Yeah. Unstuck, Eek.
And that's the guide to designing a life you love. And if you're already interested in this book, continue to listen to the podcast, but make sure you go to Amazon and you get yourself a copy of it. So Samantha, just before we talk about the book, I want to talk a little bit about your story because you really dive deep into coaching people how to get unstuck in life. So how did you become a coach? What were some of the things that led you to be able to teach this to other people?
Well, the truth of the matter is if we go back to when you read in the book, you'll see that, less than optimal childhood, which many of us have a less than optimal childhood. So I certainly am not unique in that. But I wanted to be a counselor, and then I wanted to be a music teacher. And I was always drawn to helping people, being of service. And then even in my professional career, which I ended up having a pretty good professional career, it was always in the industry of weight loss, fitness, health, dating. It was always in the helping people world. And I fell into a niche of training, teaching, doing this for big groups and doing this for the companies I worked for. And it just started dawning on me that there was a match there. I wanted to continue to help and support people in growing, in moving forward. The idea of becoming a psychologist really, as much as I love psychologists, have been to psychologists, I'm grateful for psychologists, I don't want to be a psychologist. So it just seemed like a real natural transition. So in my 40s, my husband and I decided to, go on an adventure. We packed up our kids and moved a couple countries away. And I reinvented myself. And as did he, actually. He designed his life as well. So that was it. We just really wanted to do what we loved doing.
Now, in your book, you talk about becoming unstuck. So were you stuck at one point in your life?
I think if we're all honest, we're all stuck at points in our lives. So the answer is absolutely yes. I don't know that I was stuck when I made the move or when I decided to do big, bold things. But certainly through my life, I've been like, is this it? It's kind of a flat feeling. You've got this deep knowing that I know there's more. I just have no idea how to or what that more is. So certainly.
So what would you say has been one of your biggest struggles in becoming a coach? Because I know many people who are listening to this are going to be coaches and entrepreneurs and small business owners. So what was some of your biggest struggles and how did you overcome them?
I will tell you that the two that come to mind right now, one was giving up a great income. My first year of being a coach actually paid me less than I used to make per month. So I went through every bit of my savings and pulled out RSPs and mutual funds and everything to educate myself. And I am a fan of being a professional in the field opposed to, just experience. Experience is fantastic, but I really believe that you should become educated in the field of coaching. So that would be number one. My lifestyle changed pretty dramatically financially. And I would say for any coaches out there that you need to understand that you need to market and sell your coaching.
Yes.
Because so many have this most beautiful talent to coach. They've developed it and nurtured it, and their intentions are beautiful and incredible. But if you're sitting there alone,
it's
right?
a hobby.
It's a hobby. So you need to have a marketer or a sales background that you cultivate, or hire somebody to do that.
Mm-hmm. Now, do you think in terms of sales, especially if you're new to coaching and you just don't have the money, do you think sales is a skill that people can learn?
Yes, especially in this day and age with media. For instance, I live in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. I only have about, I want to say, 3 clients currently that are in Mexico. They're all over the globe. You know, I have a, coach in Rome. I've got them in Canada and US, and not just coaches, people. But so I believe that you can do so much through media, so
Yes.
much through media, just get out there and talk and study. And again, hire people that will teach you how to do this, that have walked the path before you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have to be great in sales? Well, I think that there's a lot about coaches that there's an intuitiveness with people. They just, if they really like you and they trust you,
Mm-hmm.
they'll probably buy you.
Yes. But you can't be afraid to get out there and show them who you are.
Right. It's really important that you just be the solution to the problem. That is what sales are. Be the solution to a problem. And if someone's looking for a coach, they've identified they want more. There's a problem of lessness going on in them, whatever that is. So
Yes.
be the solution.
Awesome. All right. So let's get to talking about getting unstuck. And I know when we were working on your book, there was just so much great information in there, and just a complete system of getting unstuck in your life. And unfortunately, in the time we have here on the podcast, we can't go through it all. But what would be the 1 to 3 biggest things that people can do to start getting unstuck in their life?
Okay. In no particular order. One is identify, okay, something's going on here. So, I liken it to, I love this phrase of get in the noticing. Get in the noticing. What is this? What's going on here? I'm noticing, a nudge, or I'm noticing a bleh, or just unfulfilled, whatever. So get in the noticing, and then you can actually just say, okay, what is this? So it's acknowledging is number 1, I guess. I will put it in order. The second one is you make a decision. You decide, I'm sure that there's something better for me in the area of wherever you're feeling that discontent or that not itness, which you'll find in the book. I call it, it's just a not it feeling. It's like, this feeling is not it. This job is not it. So if you get in the noticing, and then you lean into the not itness, and you ask the question, okay, so if there was an answer to this, what could it be? You don't ever, so many people want the perfect answer, and they want everything perfect. And it's just to know that, do it imperfectly, just take a step in the direction of recognizing that there's something different, better for you. And number 3 was believe. Believe that you're worthy of that life. Believe you are worthy of feeling less stuck, and that there is greatness that waits for you, that you are no different than every other person that was created on this planet. We were all created with the same beautiful gifts. However we got here,
yes,
the same beautiful possibilities. Nobody said, you're supposed to be mediocre and miserable. That's not at all how it was supposed to go. Right?
Right.
So there you go. There's my 3 steps that I just came up with off the top of my head.
So I want to go back a minute to being perfect, because this was something that we talked a lot about, you and I, when we were working on the book.
I had a feeling you were going to say that.
But because sometimes we get stuck because of the perfectness, because it has to be perfect. And I remember saying to you one time, and Juanita, the project manager for RTI Publishing, She has a saying. It says, perfect is the enemy of done.
Yes. No. Yes. Yes.
So talk a little bit more about that, having to have things perfect, because I think that is really an area where people actually do get stuck, and it hinders them. It's like this wall that they can't get through.
Yeah. So duly noted. Yes, I got stuck in that perfection mode. This was my baby. This was my first book. This was me naked on stage in front of everybody. And I wanted it to be perfect. And here's the deal. I work with so many clients and I give them the advice all day long. So here's me holding the mirror up. Take the advice too, Sam. Is do it imperfectly. Mm-hmm. Do it imperfectly. I was thinking, I have a client that just yesterday, I was talking to, because she's redesigned her life. She quit her corporate job and she's an artist. And I'm so excited for her finally breaking free of these things that were keeping her stuck. And Airbnb in her mother-in-law unit is one of the things. And It's amazing watching her stop to try and be perfect. Do it anyway. And we talk about in the book, lean in. Do it anyway. So the advice I gave her is I said, you need to go ahead and put up your unit on Airbnb before it's ready, so that it'll be ready by that time. She goes, oh. I go, do it. And she did, and she just had her first guest, so it's do it anyway. Forget about perfection, because here's the thing. We always know practice makes perfect. Mm-hmm. Thinking about practicing does not create perfection.
Yes.
So just do it. And it's okay. This is all learning.
And I was just thinking back, I work with an Olympic coach, and we were having a discussion yesterday about the fact that, it takes 10,000 hours of doing something to become really good at it. So, sometimes I've told people, just consider the 10,000 hours practice. You don't have to be perfect. You're just practicing, right?
Cool. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. So
and
the
people
answer
will get
to
results.
This, sure. Well, the answer to this, I'll also get feedback. Ooh, geez, not that way. That's fine. It's not failure. It's just feedback. And that's in the book as well. It's like, it's just telling you, not that way. Turn left. Yeah. Take a different road.
Well, and when we were working on your book, we also had this discussion in terms of your book, is that, get that first edition out, get the feedback on the book, and then go back and do the second edition, right? But then you're making it perfect based on what the reader actually wants, not what you're thinking in your brain the reader wants.
Right. Yeah.
So let's get to the book a little bit. Those were amazing tips, and I know that they're really going to help the listener. And I really encourage you, go get the book, right? Read through it. Do the exercises. Do the exercises. Do the exercises.
Yeah, do the work, and then go back and do the work again.
That's right.
Life-changing. It's great because, as you know, I have a lot of clients, and so I'm getting feedback from my clients, and they're just going, I know we've talked about this, but I read in your book and it reminded me, and it's.
Well, and I think the other thing, maybe just before we get to talking about your book, that we need to stress is the fact that this is always a journey. It's never about one point in time in your life. And it's actually not about reaching where you think you want to be, because it usually changes throughout the process, and we're actually surprised, and we end up someplace we didn't expect, but it's the perfect place for us. So talk a little bit about being on that journey, and how you need to focus in on the journey, not the destination.
Well, I'm I think a little differently about that. We are actually saying the same thing, but it's going to sound different. Because my whole premise of Design a Life You Love is the end result. And now the end result is also just the beginning again.
Yes.
So it is designing a life you love. Is what would that look like? So if I could go, it's magic. You have the life that you would truly love living. And then you come back and you say, okay, in the journey of that, there's a few principles I need to know. One, I have to believe it's possible. Two,
Yes.
I need to take some action every day in the direction of this vision.
Mm-hmm.
So, some action. It could be just big, itty bitty, right? But some action every day in the direction of this vision. And three, it's okay to be redirected.
Yes.
So that's where we connect on that, is that you go, okay, I thought I wanted this.
Exactly.
However, now that I'm this close to this, I'm really feeling a rub. I'm really feeling, that it's more of this. And I tell my clients all the time, it's absolutely okay to be redirected. It's not okay to quit.
Exactly.
You don't get to quit, but you can be redirected, and we'll examine that together. It's like, am I getting, is this fearful to me, or is this like, a not it because, but it's great to be redirected. Oh, and then there's one more piece to this journey. Recognize that it's going to work out.
Yeah.
Always does, always has, always will.
Yes.
Work out. Maybe not how you expected, but that might be the blessing in the journey as well.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about your book. Why did you decide to write this book?
Because there's a lot of stuck people out there. If you know, a little bit of I can't remember the word right now, but a little bit of a spoiler is I'm not terribly book educated, and I'm not a fanatical reader. I've never been a fanatical reader. I'm a high school dropout. I'm a college dropout. This is why I was so grateful for RTI, because I'm not dumb. I'm actually quite brilliant.
Yeah, you are.
Thank you. But I don't know a verb from a conjugated. I don't know any of that stuff. And it's okay. I don't need to. That's what you're for. You are awesome at that. So I wrote the book because I wanted to get the message out and impact people that there's a life so much better waiting for them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not luck. So many people say, oh my gosh, you live in Cabo, you're so lucky. It was a decision. It's not luck. And it's just, yeah. And I just found that there was some basic things that I was seeing repeated in clients, which told me that this is repeated in society.
Yes.
It wasn't just special to me. And there's a lot of people that are running old programs, old paradigms of, my dad, for instance, was, you need to get a job with a pension, go be a bake teller, go work at the DMV, be a meter maid. That's what they called them when I was a kid, by the way, meter maids. And it just wasn't me. But so many people can't shed the expectations.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so they're living a pretty muted life.
Yeah.
And I wanted to, that was it. I wanted to reach more people.
So why did you choose the format of a book in today's society over so many other ways that you could have delivered this content?
First of all, I do love books now. I do love them. Second of all, I have very much designed my life to not work excessive hours. Mm-hmm. To be present with my children and my husband and my life, and time is super, super important to me, more than money. Mm-hmm. Both are good, not knocking it. Both are good, but time and a book was easy way for me to reach many, many, many people mm-hmm. in a short amount of time.
Awesome. Awesome. So what would you say was the hardest part of getting this book done?
Perfection. Trying to be perfect, trying to make sure, it was going to land on everybody exactly how I wanted it to land on everybody. And not knowing what I don't know. Mm-hmm. Right? We don't know what we don't know. So, that's why you hire the best. That's why you hire you. That's why you hire the best. If you don't want to spend time becoming the best at writing, publishing books, or becoming the best at fixing dishwashers, or becoming the best at, then hire the best.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Well, thank you, Samantha.
You're welcome.
We've really enjoyed working with you to get this book out. So, what results have you seen through your book, both personally and professionally?
Well, it was just released last month, Amazon bestseller in
Awesome.
4 categories.
Congratulations.
Thank you, and to you. 4 categories, bestseller, so that's kind of mind-blowing. And from that, I'm getting a lot of positive feedback.
Mm-hmm.
I also have to remember maybe that I'm going to get people that are going to give me not positive feedback, which, you know, I'm going to have to develop that muscle and find out, is it learning or are we just different? And what was the rest of your question?
Well, okay, maybe another way of phrasing it. How has writing the book changed you personally?
Oh, my confidence has gone through the roof. I feel as if I am an expert now.
Mm-hmm.
And I have thousands and thousands of hours of coaching under my belt.
Yes.
So I knew I was an expert in certain areas, but when you start getting confirmation from people you don't know, people you don't work with one-on-one, and they're like, wow, this is life-changing. Wow, this is amazing. This came at the right time. I'm like, okay, it was necessary. Who was I not to deliver some gift that God put through me, right?
Do you think the process of writing the book helped you to clarify things too?
That's that journey part again.
Mm-hmm.
It is a process. It is absolutely a process, and I learned a lot through the process. And that's circling back to get the best to help you if you're feeling out of your league. Nobody said you have to do it alone.
That's right. That's right.
Nope.
Awesome. All right. So thank you so much, Samantha. How can people connect with you? Obviously, we want them to go to Amazon and get your book.
Go to Amazon and next month it'll be Barnes and Noble. It'll be everywhere. So we're going to go for it. We're going big, babies.
So what I will actually do is I'm going to share. Sorry. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen here for a second so those watching the video can see it. There it is on Amazon. And how else can people get a hold of you and follow you and be able to learn from you?
Great. Thank you so much. On my website, I have a website. It is adesignedlifellc.com. And there you will find where you can reach out to me personally. You can work with me. You can find out about me. You can ask me questions. In a couple of weeks, we'll have the widget where you can download and order the books, things like that.
Nice.
So it's all there. adesignedlifellc.com.
Awesome.
And I would love to hear from people, even if it's just a question. Find me on Facebook, find me on Instagram, all of that. Samantha Buckley-Hugessen.
And we will have the links to all of those places in the show notes, so make sure that you check those out. Samantha, it's been such a pleasure having you on the podcast today. And this is Kim Thompson-Pinder from Author to Authority, and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Bye.
Thanks, Kim. Bye.